welcome back to the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast. This is the next episode. You know, we got it going on. I got my host. Well, I'm a host, T. Got my co-host, Jay, in the house. You know, shoot, man, let them know where you from, man. Tell them something.
Oh man, just a normal guy from. Are we really giving like city and states, or are
we don't have to? We
can
keep it anonymous. I think people, once they see us, they'll be like, "Oh, I know where y'all live."
Yeah. But you know, just a normal guy, just here, you know, supporting my brother. He asked me to come back on his pod. I think this is something that you all are going to enjoy. So I hope you stay tuned and just vibe with us. We're going to be talking about some stuff that, you know, hopefully you can all relate to. If not, oh well, thank you for listening anyway.
Facts. Thank you for listening.
So this is not a family fun centered thing, so we don't advise children at the very small age.
We don't play by those rules.
So if this is what you're looking for, this might not be what for you.
Might not do it.
The real, then we're here for you. So,
bruh, like you already know. So shit, we gonna get it cracking, man. We stepping into this episode today. We might be maybe a little bit more organized. I don't know. We'll see what's up. But I'm thinking, man, let's dive into this NBA All-Star shit, I guess.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
So of course the All-Star game this year was held in Chicago. Never been to Chicago. Kind of give us your spiel on what Chicago was like.
Man, Chicago's what it is, man. You know, I actually have connections to Chicago in more ways than none. My folks, my mother is actually was born in Chicago, so I actually have family that's up there. But really, most recently, my wife, who, you know, I've been with for the better part of the last decade, she's from Chicago. So we go up there annually, mainly on Thanksgiving, and you know, it's a different vibe up there, man. It's you know, it's definitely different from where we both come from. They do things a lot differently. I could tell you, if you're not a fan of snow at this time of year, Chicago might be not where you want to go, but you probably knew that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I mean, it's great city, great food. Lingo is not like any other, so you probably will go up there and don't know any of what they're talking about, but it's all love.
It's fair.
Yeah, and the music is one of a kind, and I say that with confidence, one of a kind. So it's, and I mean their rap music. I can't really speak for any other genre that comes from up there, but their rap music is, if you know what drill music is, that's basically what they thrive off of. So, you know, it's, but again, I'm from the South, so.
Yeah, same.
So I don't, you know, relate to it that much, but, you know, it's very popular, and a lot of people, they do relate to it. So I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. It's just that I can't personally relate to it. So, but yeah, that's Chicago in a nutshell. I mean, we actually gonna be probably going up there in the next month or so for a baby shower. So, good times. So.
Okay. Well. So that's your spiel on Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, but might do that soon. It just depends. It depends on how it goes, man. Honestly, I don't know. We gonna see about that. But we're gonna dive into this NBA All-Star shit. So for what it's worth, I'm not even gonna lie to my listeners. I ain't watch it that much this year. But I did kind of catch a couple of things here and there, just like a couple of I don't know, like little spurts and spots. And like how I catch most of my media is actually through Facebook, believe it or not. Facebook and Twitter are really good mediums for sports now. Like for you to catch like who's winning or if it's on live and stuff like that. And so, of course, Kawhi Leonard was the Kia Kobe Bryant All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah.
So, and basically, you know, R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. That could be. We could spend a whole episode just talking about him. Man.
Oh, most definitely.
What he meant to the black community, what he meant to all communities, who he is. I mean, was and is. I mean, I personally believe that once you don't really die, you transcend. So, you know, he's still among us, just walking in another form. But then I have other theories about him actually still being here, like similar to like with the whole Tupac thing. Like people say Tupac is really not dead type thing. Like I think that he's probably still here somewhere. But that's just me. But Qual won that. Shoot, man, we got who was it? Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah. They just have Jones Jr. down here. Derrick Jones Jr. Wow. Edges Gordon for the AT&T Slam Dunk title. Now they say it was a lot of what's the word for that? It was a lot of controversy behind him winning it or something like that because Dwayne Wade was one of the judges and he was trying to make sure that he was getting his guy in there, some shit like that, and people are mad. How you feeling about that?
You know, I'm kind of. It's hard for me to have an opinion on it because, like you, sir, I didn't really watch it this year. Mm-hmm. Of course, I caught highlights here and there. Well, not really even that many highlights. But I just read, you know, of course, like you said, Twitter, Facebook is going to tell you everything you need to know about a live event, especially sports.
Facts.
So it's hard for me to comment on it because honestly, I didn't watch it, but I do know that the second place finisher, Aaron Gordon. This was his second dunk contest, and I think he was in the 2013, 2014. Yeah,
he won that one.
No, he actually didn't.
You talking about the guy from Orlando?
Yes, yeah.
I thought he won the first one.
That's the thing. He should have. That's what everybody's talking about because apparently he, you know, I mean, because I actually watched that dunk contest, and he did deserve that win.
He jumped over the car and stuff, didn't he?
No, that was Blake Griffin. I forgot. You know, we'll have to.
Wrong light skin guy, right?
Yeah. But I don't think he won it. He either tied. It was either a tie or he lost. But anyway, that was controversial too. I mean, because he should have won. I think he was up against Zach LaVine, and which he's with the Chicago Bulls. I think he was with them at that time. So
yeah, that was a good. Now that was actually like a better dunk contest of our. That decade.
Yeah. I mean, because that was kind of where it was kind of getting slaw a little bit. You know, it was the creativity was lacking. They even tried to like switch up the way it's done and the format. They tried all kind of things and it just wasn't working. So
the NBA AllStar Weekend has just gotten to a point to where it is washed.
Yeah.
It's just a break for them to play a pickup game. The richest pickup game in history of the world, basically.
Facts. And, you know, they really don't start really playing until, like, the fourth quarter. And that was, like the last 5 minutes. You know, that's when they actually started getting competitive. So, I mean, I've kind of been out of touch with the All-Star Weekend, mainly because I'm talking to you. Yes, NBA, I am talking to you. National Basketball Association. Please stop scheduling the All-Star Weekend on Valentine's weekend because guys like him and I who
can't watch it.
Yeah, we are, you know, married and, you know, our wives kind of like to do things on Valentine's Day.
Watch shit. Can't
so
do shit.
I like to take my wife out as well. That's you know, date nights are essential, you know, especially with us having kids. We try to utilize a sitter anytime
they got kids. We don't have kids.
Yeah. So
let me clarify.
Yeah.
This bitch.
So Adam, wherever your last name is, Silver. What I can't
think that's right.
Yeah, Adam Silver.
I don't even know, bro. I haven't been following it. See, we actually, when it comes to the sports shit, we gonna be depending on you.
Yeah, okay.
For a lot of that shit because you have all the facts. You know how all the stats go properly and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna get my knowledge up. Don't worry. And then shout out to Miko Grimes. We fuck with the I Heart Miko podcast. She teaches me a lot of stuff, and she's just got worldly issues. She's like a big sister to me, like in a worldly view, in a podcast way. And I actually like almost met Miko at like at a Big 3 event last summer in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, that's
crazy. She was like right there, and I was like, wow, it's Miko Grimes. So I mean, you know who Brent Grimes is? Yeah, that's his wife.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, bro, she cool as fuck.
Dope.
So I mean, we didn't get to talk to her that long, but she was just there trying to chill and do her thing, which is respect, you know.
Yeah.
But continue. I'm listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I am a sports fanatic. But I say that with caution because I'm more into college sports. I'm more into basketball, college basketball, and
Look
college
out, David
football.
Copperfield.
When it comes to baseball and hockey, yeah, I'm not your guy. I could tell you maybe loosely, I could tell you some players, but I don't know. I don't know shit about baseball as far as like the who's good, the teams and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I may be lucky enough to even tell you who wins the World Series. I don't know shit about
When I say sports, I don't mean we covering all of them. But we can.
We can touch on it. I mean,
we are gonna touch on a little bit on the Deontay Wilder situation though, tonight.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of information, but I've got enough to kind of I got some stuff.
Facts.
Kind of shit that I've seen rather.
We can do that. For sure. We can definitely do that. But yeah, man, that's really all. I listen to sports podcasts like every day. My wife hates it, and she
doesn't have to ride with you. So it's not like she got to hear it.
Yeah, she hates it. My kids, they like, can we listen to music, Daddy? I'm like, yeah, I guess, but. I listen
take
to a
y'all
full
ass
Cuba
to
podcast.
sleep.
Yeah, for real.
I'm driving, god damn it.
So, man, I'm trying to tell you. So, and we can definitely get vibing, getting in contact with some sports and stuff. So, I mean, but as far as AllStar Weekend, you gotta get NBA, you gotta get that shit fixed. You either make it the weekend
NBA
before Valentine's,
right now, boy,
or the week after. Yeah, so
that's real.
So AllStar Weekend. Aaron Gordon we touch back on to the Aaron Gordon thing. It was another controversial loss for him. A lot of people. I actually did see a couple of dunks that he did, and it was dunk contest winner worthy, and somehow he did not win. Now, not saying that the other guy, Derrick Jones Jr., did not do his thing, because he absolutely did, but. Aaron Gordon probably had his dunks just a little more better than Derrick Jones Jr. But tomato. It's how you see it. So I don't even know who won the 3-point contest. Do you?
The 3-point contest was won by a guy named Buddy Hield.
Yes. Buddy Hield. I think
Buddy Hield wins the 2020 Mountain Dew 3-point contest.
Yeah, he is on.
He plays for the Kings.
Yeah, he's a Sacramento Kings. Yeah.
Get out of here. Let me read this shit.
He's actually a pretty good sharpshooter. He came from Oklahoma a few years ago. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Oklahoma Sooners. Yeah, they do have a basketball team, surprisingly.
And there are teams that, well like I'll say Final Cut Pro. That's the editing software we use. In Friday Night Lights, you say if you win, you keep playing. If you lose, you play basketball.
Yep.
Some schools schools that operate on that standpoint, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna play. Go ahead and have us a basketball season since we have a team. And,
right.
That's kind of the situation we got going on there.
Right.
But so that was the 3-point contest winner.
And that's honestly here recently, that's the only event that I know that's been very consistent, because that's the 3-point shooting contest is usually pretty entertaining, because they actually have some of the best shooters in the league actually participating. I mean, I remember the one year they had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard. I think Damian Lillard was in it one year.
Yeah. He got a shot on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously been working on it, but it's like not. I don't know. He got an interesting style of play for a point guard. He kind of reminds you of a more in tune David Westbrook. Not David Westbrook. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
David, goddamn. David Westbrook. You can tell it's late night hours.
Scary hours.
Hey man, the studio's open, so they was like, you can get some extra recording in. So I said, fuck it, let's get it. Yeah, man. So, and if you're not familiar with so they had it at the United Center. It was in Chicago, Illinois. That was the game itself. I think didn't they have all that stuff in the same place, like the skills challenge and all that other stuff?
Yeah. I think the skills challenge, the 3-point shooting contest, and the slam dunk contest all took place in the same arena and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the fourth event was, or if it was, because it used to be, I feel like it used to be like 4 events, but it may be only 3 now. I do know they do the whole, it used to be the rookie and sophomore game. Now I think it's called like, I don't know, it's not called that anymore. It's like Team USA and International or something like that. So basically all of the rookies and the sophomore players, meaning like the players that's been in the league for, a year at least, they split them up based off where they come from, I guess their countries, because the NBA is full of international players now. So if you even watch the NBA draft, you see a lot of international players drafted. Some for good reasons. Some actually paying out, like Giannis. Some of them actually don't. Darko Miller, I'm talking to you. 2003 second overall pick. Yes, I'm talking to you, sir.
Get him.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like a hit or miss with those players. They are talented, but some of their games just simply doesn't translate into the league, and that's it's kind of like I mean, it's no different than really college basketball players not transcending, but it seems like you're more likely to, I don't know, miss on an international player than an actual college basketball player, because their style of play, they're very skilled over there. But I feel like they're kind of more, I don't know, shooters. Over here, everyone is known for their dunking and their athleticism and all of that stuff.
I'm kind of glad though. We gonna stop right there. Not stop. We just gonna we gonna. I'm glad that the league is going back to being more of a balance.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that there's a shift of shooters now. I can't believe I'm saying this on my podcast. We have to credit, in a weird way, Steph Curry for that, because he kind of remade shooting cool again. But it's just the way he was doing it was kind of like weird. Like he's shooting all over the place. That shit is what's got these kids out here thinking that they can do the same thing. And that ain't really how you play ball, bro.
Right.
Like, not shooting from half court. Granted, I was doing that shit when we was playing league ball. Like, remember, I would just shoot it, chunk it up, half court, make it, and they'd be like, oh, wow. I'd be like, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was going in either. I was just mad because I wasn't getting no playing time for real.
Right.
But, I mean, it is what it is. But we kind of can credit, like, Steph Curry for that shit to make it cool again to shoot. And so now everybody's trying, like, it's gotten big men at the point trying to develop their game around shooting. But actually, before that, I mean, Steve Nash was a shooter, lo-fi. He was a lo-fi shooter.
Yeah.
Who else was a shooter before? You had Derrick Rose, was kind of a pull-up artist. He was more so just explosive all over the place.
He was like, he was very athletic when it came to he was a good
Derrick
finisher.
Rose.
Yeah, he was nice.
Dude was a beast.
He was nice.
I can't even remember. It was him, Joe Kim, and.
Oh yeah,
he had a squad. They had a squad in Chicago.
Yeah, they had a pretty good team.
What do you think it was psychologically that was not? They couldn't get it together. Like, what do you think it was that just they couldn't get it popping up there?
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
I mean, seriously,
my man's.
They grew up. They came. Unfortunately, it was just the wrong era for them because they ascended at the same time. Miami had formed the big three with LeBron and D Wade and Bosh. And, the rest is history from there. So at that particular time, when they were on the rise, so were they. And of course, they had to go through them, to get to the to even get to the championship.
Yeah, the beast of the East, man.
So I mean, I think if any other team, if they came up in any other era, as far as even if they were a couple of years just before they formed that super team in Miami, they probably would have had a chance to at least maybe play in the championship. I don't know if they would have won. That's the rest to be seen with that, because that was before before D Wade and LeBron and Bosh formed a super team. There was really no other people who were doing that. I think Boston did it, but it wasn't really
Boston super. They're talking about the big three.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like in their back half of their careers, you know. It was just at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they still had a lot of game left, and I mean, I know they won a championship, obviously, but
Yeah, they got that one.
they weren't in their prime. D Wade and LeBron and Bosh were in their primes when they joined that super team.
Yeah, when people were saying like they talking about Steph Curry did the same. No wait, when it was that whole KD situation, they were like, I argue with people all the time. I'm like, you do realize that was two totally different moves.
Yeah.
Like LeBron went to Miami, and Miami before that was like 37 and 46 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I mean, we can look it up and fact check it here in a second if necessary, because you got some people who are just like, oh, well, you didn't look it up, you didn't figure it out. But the bottom line is these motherfuckers was not a 72-win team before he went. And he did not get beat by Miami in the playoffs prior to him leaving, going there. He got beat by the Celtics.
Yeah.
He was frustrated. And it was like that one iconic moment where he had took his jersey off at the end of the game, and they were like, could this mean the end of, like, the crazy part is, before they said anything, my mom and I, we're avid basketball fans. So whenever we get a chance to not work and just chill, she was like, wow, T, he took his jersey off. Did you see that? And I was like,
oh, yeah.
I was like, that. Yeah. And she was like, that's a big deal. You didn't see the symbolism in that? And I was like,
yep. I was here that night. Yeah, when she said that. We was actually watching it on the couch in there. It was, because like you said, it was like a big moment because, you know, that was at the time where everybody was like, where is he gonna go? Where is he? You know, is it over with? Because it had been, you know, it had been alluded to for a couple of seasons at that point where he needed help. You know, it was just kind of like he was carrying
it. Should have been 10.
Yeah.
Like. I mean, it was impressive that he took that bummy ass team to the finals, though. Like
in 04, you talking about against the Spurs? Yeah, that was.
And the Spurs were like a fucking. They were like a.
That was when Duncan was in his prime, man. Duncan,
that dude was dangerous.
I think they still had David Robinson at that point. I think Ginobili was still like doing crazy shit off the bench, and Tony Parker was just like.
And Ginobili started. What was his? What was his? His rookie season. What was that?
Man, I have to look that up.
Yeah, go for it, man. We got technology.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Yeah. I know he was. I want to say it was in the 2000s at some point, the early 2000s, because he was fairly young when they won that championship in 2004. He actually had hair and everything.
Yeah, it was jet black.
Yeah.
That shit wild. I mean, well, I don't know, and then we kind of jumping around on sports like with LeBron, not LeBron. So what are you thinking about? What do you think about this new format they got, where it's Team LeBron and Team Giannis?
Just to add on to the Ginobili, he was his rookie year was in '99. He was selected in the second round. 10 years old. Yeah, '99, second round, 57th overall pick. So, but. He actually was playing overseas prior to that since '95, but you know, overseas they let them play early, like they be like 15, 16, and they're playing professional basketball overseas. It's kind of different over there. So
yeah, it's just as professional as it is here. Like it's actually probably a little bit more professional. I heard that they get paid better overseas than they do here.
Yeah.
And then the people actually like respect them and shit like that.
Oh yeah, they're like royalty over there. I mean, especially if you. Especially if you're an American, like if you go over there, they treat you like a Hollywood celebrity. Like, no bullshit. But as far as the format of the now All-Star game, I like it. I mean, and I say this because just the way the teams are set up in today's league. You can't really do the East-West anymore, just simply because if you do that, it's just tremendously it's tremendously lopsided at that point. Especially now that you have LeBron playing for the Lakers now, so obviously he would be on the West, but you also have Kawhi Leonard on the West. You have
everybody
Damian
went
Leonard.
over there now, basically.
Yeah, you have Anthony Davis. Everybody's on the West Coast now playing football. See, it's late. Not football, basketball. And you know, on the East Coast, you can only name like a handful of players. You know, the first player that comes to mind is Giannis. You know, from Milwaukee. But after that, who else? You know, they have good role players on the East, but they don't have superstars on the East right now. There are some that's rising. You know, this new generation of players is actually coming up. They actually have some that's coming and up and coming, but they're not right now where they're going to be in their later careers. So I kind of like it. It makes it entertaining. It's not because I couldn't imagine watching the West play the East right now. They just wouldn't sell. It just wouldn't. Sorry, it wouldn't. But it's this.
I guess I'm more traditional because I just like to see that. I like to see like that on the jerseys, like East and West. Like how the video games used to be, and you would like go get that team and play against like FIBA team or some shit or just a random person. I don't know, but it's just everything different, man. Even video games are weird to me now. It's like, bro, like they like fucking movies.
Oh yeah. I haven't played a actual video, like an actual NBA video game.
Talk to me.
And
I can't stand 2K, bro.
I'm not a 2K fan.
If y'all want to sponsor us, though, we'll shout you out. And be like, sure. Go buy 2K.
But I don't give a damn what y'all
Check
say.
this out.
NBA Live was the shit in its day. Yeah.
I got the NBA. Tell me why I got NBA 2K for Christmas, right? I bought it for myself because it was like Black Friday.
Yeah.
I ain't even opened it yet, bro. It still got the receipt with it because I was going to take it back and put that back on my card.
Yeah.
Never took it back. I'm just like, well, I guess I should just play it.
Right.
Because it's like at one of my houses, one of the houses, I don't know, one of my family's houses.
It's not what it is. 2K is just, you know, it had good moments, you know, back in the days where it was 2K1, when Allen Iverson was on the cover, it was actually decent at that time.
That was Sega a fire game.
Yeah.
Back when they had multiple franchises and stuff, you had NBA 2K, NBA Live,
Inside Drive or Court, was it?
Court. The NBA Courtside, which Kobe Bryant edition. Like,
had him on there dunking and shit,
bruh, and had him doing little shit. N64, like I mean, and then even if you switch over to football, you had NFL Fever.
Yes.
That was a really good game for
Blitz.
Xbox franchise exclusive. Blitz.
Game
Day. Shoot, what was the other one? And 989 Sports used to make Game Day. They used to have some fire shit.
Yeah.
There was another one. NFL Quarterback Club.
Quarterback Club. They had
Brett Favre.
Yep, had
Brett Favre was that one. So they had different opportunities and it's crazy though because you think about like back then how people just got in where they fit in with certain things, like they just made it happen. Like it's like kind of like you just strike while the iron is hot. Like with the podcasting right now, podcasting is like an all-time high.
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't know, like, you know, everybody's got a certain audience. Like we kind of cater to all, but at the same time, I feel like most people that have done the things that we do stick to it. Like, oh yeah, they watch sports, we watch sports. They watch wrestling, we watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrestling and boxing, well, wrestling and boxing are two different sports, but they do take place in a ring.
Yeah.
Cause we got to get off of basketball. We don't spend like 30 minutes talking about basketball.
We can talk about basketball.
I don't even be watching basketball like that. But Deontay Wilder took on Tyson Fury for the second time. This was the rematch.
Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah. This was the rematch. This is the second time. Yeah. The first time, I believe it ended in a draw, but it was clear that Deontay had won that fight.
Actually, no.
Was it not clear?
Actually, Fury is people are arguing that he actually lost that fight.
He lost the first one?
Yeah, but I mean, it ended
That's
up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That was saying like Fury had won that fight. That's what.
The first one?
Yeah.
You mean like with the point card?
Yeah, that's what because I didn't actually watch that fight, but everybody that watched it, cause
I saw some of it. He kept knocking him down.
Seeing Fury actually dominated, but it ended with a draw on the first fight. Now,
it was weird.
You have to check it. I mean, if y'all have any other opinion.
As somebody that I do box. I box like 3 days a week. I've been out of it for the last 2 weeks. I get my shit together. But as somebody that actually boxes, I will say that Deontay really has no fighting style. Like he's not a boxer. He's a knockout artist. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Like it's like with the NBA, you either a dunker or a well-rounded player.
Yep.
Like you remember Josh Smith?
Yes.
He was just dunk. And he was
yeah.
And then what's his name almost became that way. J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith.
He almost turned into that shit, but he changed it, but he's still kind of slow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But long story short, man, Deontay spent so much time. I didn't see it, and now that it's on YouTube, I can go back and review it. He spent so much time in the beginning trying to knock him out with that right hand. He gassed himself early.
Yeah.
But then he used the excuse, oh my what I wore to the ring, nah, bro, he just wasn't prepared.
Trying to hear that, bro.
And it makes me wonder what the fuck he was doing all this time. Like, was he strictly just talking? Like, I'm gonna knock your ass out.
Man.
And it would have been cool if he would have just shut the fuck up and just sat your ass down somewhere and just get off in it. Fury was talking shit too, but he just had a different look this time, bro. Man. He looked crazy, bro. He looked like
he was out for blood, literally.
Yes.
He
was licking dudes' blood and shit, bro. That nigga a demon.
He was not playing. I mean, I'm like, damn, he built like Gru, and I grew from damn Despicable Me. Like that's how he's built. But
come on with the animated.
Yeah, he took him to the woodshed, man, and
he beat his ass.
And it's just there's no ifs, buts about it. I mean, I heard the excuse that he came up with about like, his legs was gone because apparently, because I didn't watch the fight either. I kind of think boxing is dead to me.
Yeah, there's no one there.
Heavyweight division.
It was just Deontay for all this time.
Yeah,
he had 40-something wins.
Yeah,
but he's 41-1 now, I think. So. And Tyson, is he still undefeated?
I think so. I think something like that. Yeah, his record is pretty good too. I just think, I think boxing, people may disagree, but I just think it's kind of like dying right now. At least the heavyweight division.
Well, shit, I can tell you a big reason why I think it might be dying is because of the new concussion protocol shit.
Yeah.
Like have you ever seen? There's a movie that Will Smith made or produced or was in. It was called Concussion.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that, definitely go check out that film because it just educates you about what we've always known about. Sports that you got to use your head with, and so they think, oh, damn, you box like that? Yeah, I box. I spar and shit. I'm helping to train someone to go pro. So it's like, with me, I'm strictly sparring and strictly actually just getting my training stuff together to help build up other minds. My goal is not to become the next boxer. Like with me, I don't have that much passion. At one point in time, I thought I did because it was just a means of losing weight. After a while, it kind of becomes a way of life.
Yeah. So
you have to just it's all about how you look at it. But that's pretty much what happened, man. Wilder lost it, and now he's online and posting. It was a video that was revealed the other day where he was saying, "Your king is here. Your king is still here." Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, bro. Low key, your time is over with. But at the same time, they have him. He has the rematch clause or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's already vowed for it. In my opinion, he's done that too early. He needs to just go back in the dungeon and train for a little while. And I would say just get a couple of fights up under his belt to get his confidence up, like just a couple of nobody people, and just get it cracking.
Yeah, man. I know he criticized his not manager, but his trainer, I guess. Mm-hmm. So whoever is the one that
didn't he drop him?
No, he retained him. Yeah, I saw.
What? He went back and got him.
Yeah, I saw on SportsCenter that he had no plans of dropping him, and they retained him. But I know he was very angry about it. But the way I saw it was he was just looking out for him long term. He was really looking out for him at the quality.
So he can fight again.
Yeah. And then, and then have a life after boxing because this shit's not going to last forever. And that's with any sport. Football, basketball, boxing,
he got
hockey.
$25 million to lose.
All right, you got to start thinking about life after what you're going to do. And I just think that's why I commend a lot of professional athletes now, especially in football, that's, you know, starting to see that vision and is starting to retire at an earlier age. And
yeah, they dropping out at like 29 now and 30.
Yeah,
they smart.
Smart,
like
man.
Andrew Luck, he got out. He was
man.
broke up, boy.
Yeah.
It was crazy at the beginning of the season. He just like, yeah, I can't do this no more. I was like, what?
Yeah,
and I had like, bro, I have like all, Andrew, if you're watching this, we have all the respect for you that you did that because you care about your family, being able to do stuff, and just having being cognizant, knowing that you couldn't go any forward. You weren't prideful. You decided to make the best decision that you could for yourself, and it's necessary. So
yeah, man, you gotta have your mentals, man. You gotta, you know, not only that, you know, football is a physical sport, it can weigh on you mentally. It's, you know, there's so many referencing back to that. I'm glad you brought that up. The movie, you know, that movie Concussion. You know, Will Smith. That actually, that movie, the heavy topic of that movie was for football players, and you know, a lot of it was research of actually like football players committing suicide later in their later life, you know, in their 40s and 50s and stuff, which is, you know, today's standards, that's a very young age. So, you know, and that's just him was just basically researching and looking at like what's causing people to do that. So, again, you know, I think I'm not a professional athlete, so I can't speak on why they do it and what's the reason of. I mean, but I know some of them kind of do it for the wrong reasons and for the money and for the well-being. Of course, you know, everybody wants to take care of their family because I have a family to support and take care of. But at the same time, you got to do it for more than that. You got to actually love what you're doing. And at that point, it just becomes a regular job. It's just that the only difference is everybody's is just seeing what you do on TV. You know?
Respect. Yeah. We talked about that in a previous episode about how you just got to, whatever your job is, it's your job. And it doesn't make you any less of a person or anything like that. No. You just keep it going because you got to grind it out for your fam.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, with me hitting a milestone, turning 30 the year before last, I started thinking, my mindset started to become different as far as like, okay, now I'm getting to the age. I'm still young, but I'm getting to the age now. I gotta think about my family and what, making sure that I'm mentally right and I'm healthier so I can be there for them. Yeah. Of course, you know, none of us are immortal. None of us are invincible. You know, that time is gonna come. Yeah, he is. Yeah, that time is gonna come. We just don't know when. So I just want to make sure that I want to attempt to be able to see my kids grow up and see them eventually have kids, see them eventually have families and whatnot, and try to be, you know, part of their lives as long as I can and as much as I can, because you just don't never know when that time is, man. So. But yeah, it's just crazy, man, with the sports. Concussions are big, but boxing, that's just, I mean, what more can, that's not if that doesn't scream concussion, I mean, you getting repeatedly hitting your head, you know, from people
banging.
You know, people that's the same size or if not just slightly bigger than you. It's
Yeah,
I can imagine how fun that would be.
I played a little bit of football. Like, I did a little bit in high school. Yeah. I did a little bit in, what was it? I say grade school. For the most part, I mean, it just was what it was. Like, it was just a rite of, at one point in time, we all thought football was like a rite of passage. Like, we thought football was something that we had to do. To get girls, to get friends, to have like connections in the community and shit like that. And it kind of was, but it wasn't necessary. I mean, you know, like when I was in it for all the wrong reasons, and that's the reason why it didn't pan out that well for me. And so, like, I mean, I was really good at it though. That's the thing, is that, well, so I was told, like, my mother's boyfriend at the time, longtime boyfriend or whatever, had taught me how to play most of the sports that I played in my life. Like, some of them I was just naturally athletic. I already had the stuff down pat. Right. But long story short, he had pretty much turned me into like a fucking animal. And so I felt like I was becoming an animal. My body was getting nice. I was faster. I was faster than I had ever been in my life. You know, all my bone. I just felt like so much energy. And long story short, it just fell apart again because I couldn't even get my homework done. I was sleepy all the time. My head was hurting. I probably had a concussion 2 or 3 and didn't realize it. And that was at a time where, you know, concussion wasn't even something that wasn't something that you take somebody out of the game for. You take them out of the game, give them like 2 or 3 minutes, and you send them back out there basically.
Right.
But a concussion is something that takes like 2 weeks to.
Yeah, it can, depending on how severe it is. You know, it's some that's not as severe, and it's some that is. You know, and but you know, unfortunately, in today's age, teams start. I wouldn't say don't care about, but they gotta think about the best interest of the organization that they're working for. So it may be some doctors that may be rushing athletes out there, you know, sooner than what they should be rushed out to. You know, as far as like they're not ready, but at the same time, their main focus is not really to think about the well-being to an extent of the player itself, but you know, the best interest of the organization. So Andrew Luck, for example, he may have had a ton of concussions, but at the same time, are they really looking out for his best interest, or are they looking out for the best interest of the Indianapolis Colts, who he was playing for at that time? So
yeah, I mean, and they want to make it seem like they're trying to look out for the person and they care about the person. And I mean, you know, technically the person is a business. Like each individual player is a business in the NFL, in the NBA, in the MLS. What else we got? The National Rugby League. Like they're all these different. Oh man, I keep messing up mics. All these different players and associations and stuff like that. They're all individual businesses. So if you think about it, you got to take care of your own business before you take care of theirs.
Absolutely.
Because they're not, like you said, at the end of the day, they're not going to give a flip about you, bro. Like, they're not going to be riding for you like you think they are. It's like when high school, like for a lot of the folks we went to high school with, we're in for a rude awakening once we knew it. Like, we could kind of see it. And I was like, well, let me just go ahead and hunker down on my
academics. Yes, sir.
I was like, let me just go ahead and figure that shit out because I mean, you know, this basketball shit ain't panning out. Like I tried out for 3 years of high school basketball, bro. I got cut every year. But the biggest thing is like my drive now athletically is totally different. Like my mind is different.
Yep.
So my mom actually tried to break it to me. Like she was like, why don't you just get back in shape? Like why don't you just get back in the gym and do this, that, and the third? And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then I would just never do it. She's like, why don't you just start running every day to prepare and plant the seeds for what it is you're trying to do. I remember, man, I used to, every day, in the backyard, we have about like an acre. I would run back and forth like from one end to I would only do it like 6 times. So I'd be like, all right, I worked out today. And it would only be like 6 times. And then when I got out there to try out, it felt like I had only ran one, like, back and forth 6 times.
Wow.
So for what it's worth, our high school, the politics, they were ridiculous, and so they already knew who they wanted before you even got out there.
They just had a tryout just to say that for the sake that they had a tryout. That's just, I mean, in my personal opinion, you know, like you said, it was a lot of politics behind that. I actually wanted to go out for basketball during my high school years.
Didn't you make it?
No, I never went out, man. Because I started to my freshman year, but I just kind of like seen what it was about. They kind of identified who they wanted pretty early. Again, it was politics, man. Mm-hmm. That's another discussion for another episode. But it was just my mindset was I'm not gonna go out there, waste my time, you know, get ridiculed and stuff like that, because all it was a lot of the times was a big popularity contest. And
correct.
You know, and a lot of them, you know, shout out to them. I mean, we actually had our basketball team that actually won the state championship, you know, our senior year of high school. And, you know, shout out to that team. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, I started thinking about, at that point, I started thinking about stuff beyond high school. And sometimes, you know, with us getting caught up with that, we start living in the moment and then not really thinking about the future. And I started thinking about like, okay, my life is gonna be much bigger than what it is in high school.
Scale of 1 to 10. How important do you think? What would you tell? Scratch all that. What do you feel is the most important thing that any high school athlete should know right now? Like one is listening right now that might be like, I'm vibing with these guys. They putting me on game. Like what is a harsh truth you want to tell them right now?
It's not gonna last. You know, just be aware. Just know that anybody, you know, you have that opportunity to get yourself out there and take it to the next level, which would be college. But there's very few percentage that do that, and there's very even few percentage that goes beyond the college game, the college level. So
it's a different level of commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to I would just let someone know that, you know, I'm not against at all playing sports, because you know, I think it's great that you play sports, but don't let that become your end goal. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be what you want to be, but at the same time, you need to realize you need a plan B, because even if you do make it, there's what you're gonna do beyond your professional career of sports. You know, there's so many smart athletes out there now, like, you know, for example, Tony Romo. Not a fan of him, not a fan of the Cowboys personally. I don't even think he was all that great. I mean, some people that loved him, but I'm saying it just to say this. You know, it was news that broke yesterday or the day before that he just got signed on for $17 million a year to be a sports commentator.
Romo, yeah.
Commentator, not a quarterback.
He get paid more than most of the players.
Yeah. This is a commentator.
They got him on a good old boy contract.
Yeah. And granted,
must be nice. $17 million would change my life right now.
$17 million.
You know what I do with that?
And to talk about sports, to talk about shit that you've done, I mean, that's just a cakewalk for him. So I say that to say is, you know, he had a great plan after football. You know, it may not worked out for him. Like he may not got the Super Bowl. I don't even know if he even be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't even know, but he obviously saw something. He saw the vision, and and he got the connection, and now he's getting paid as a professional athlete, but doing the commentating side of it. And I just think that, you know, that would, if I was a professional athlete, especially in football, that'd be something that I'm trying to aim for. I'm trying to get on TV. I'm trying to be an analyst. You know, that's trying to get that money, because a lot of them, again, going back to knowing what they're playing for, a lot of them are playing for monetary reasons, because they feel that they need it. They got to make as much money as you can, and, you know, be you, but also just know that at what cost are you going to do that. So
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
What are some things that you feel about the current state of just affairs in life? How are you feeling about that? Like, it's Black History. Well, this is the end of Black History Month. And I see you repping. You got your dashiki on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had to for the culture.
Yeah, bro. For sure.
For the culture.
What are some things that you feel kids should know about that?
As far as Black History Month, just knowing that
Black History in general.
Black History, just
For
knowing
sure.
that, you know, our people overcame a lot, and a lot of the stuff that we use and we rely on today came from Black inventors. You know, the traffic light, for example. You know, that's, a lot of people don't realize a Black inventor, you know, wrote that. The Three Musketeers, Alexander Dumas. A lot of people think, okay, that's a French name. He must be French. He's actually a Black guy. Look it up.
He's actually a black guy.
He's actually a black guy. Alexander Dumas for
Look it up.
The Three Musketeers. Just things like that. It's just so our people are, they've done so much and they've gotten so little credit for some things, and I'm not saying all of them are overlooked, because I mean black excellence is recognized in certain capacities, but it's a lot of stuff that a lot of people of our color didn't even know that they invented it, didn't even know that they even had a part of that, and I'm still learning some things.
It's a reason why too. You already know it's part of the agenda.
Absolutely. So it's just, I just tell kids, do your research, because don't rely on schools to tell you everything, because they will not.
Their educational system will fail you.
Will fail you.
It's like that's still a whole nother episode. Yeah, I know we talked about it in the first one, but this one ain't the one.
Yeah, this ain't the one either.
I can feel it. I can feel it shutting down.
It's a lot of talk about that. But just do your research. Don't rely on your school to tell you everything that you need to know about Black history. I mean, they're gonna tell you the cliche. They're gonna tell you about the slavery part of it. They're gonna tell you about the Middle Passage on how we came from
the parts where they was the most dominant.
Yeah. They're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you all of that.
They ain't gonna talk about a time where Black folks actually came together and tried. And it's like, it's been many different slave revolts, like them trying to break out into their own thing, but it would always run into another master, or it sounded like it just wasn't a good time to be around.
Yeah, man. And they're gonna talk about the how can I say this, the face of Black history. Like the Martin Luther Kings of the world. They're gonna touch on that. The Rosa Parks. Yep. They may hint at Malcolm X, but they won't go into that, because he stood for different things. Even though like the end game of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were polar opposites. Obviously the end goal was the same, but they went about it a different way. Mm-hmm. They're gonna touch more on Martin Luther King's side of it, because he represented more peace. Malcolm X, not so
he was
much.
a little bit more.
He's more radical,
vigilant.
Yeah, vigilant, if you will. Think of it like, I don't know. Let's just use my comic book references here. Right. Martin Luther King represents Professor X. Malcolm X represents Magneto. True story. That's where Stan Lee actually got the idea of using Professor X, and
so he kind of serves Magneto. As like a catalyst for
he was he was woke, man. Like that was if you look up the origins of X-Men, it started forming around that time where both of those leaders were prominent, in their time. So that's where those comic book characters are based off of loosely. Professor X again represents kind of like the Martin Luther King of things, and Magneto is more like Malcolm X. They have the same idea, the same end goal, but their visions are in the journey, the paths that they take are different. So again, I would just just read a book, kids.
Read a book.
We have smartphones now. We have things that you have
no
access.
reason that you can't utilize it, right?
Yeah, we have the worldwide. Well, most of you probably have iPads anyway. Use them for that. Don't just use them for the games and stuff that comes with it. Actually do your research, and don't wait until it's February, the shortest month of the year. 29 days on the good year to let someone educate you on Black history, because I
think people do that far too often.
Yeah,
like, man. They wait until the month. They wait until Black History Month to start looking up Black history facts, and it's like, bro, you got 365. You got like.
Yeah. It's just like we didn't just become excellent in 1 month, man. We did this shit year round, bro. Like, look it up, man. Look it up. So. Just just be well aware.
I just did the math. You have 336 other days to look up like what else is available for ways for us to take things over. Not even take it over, just have a good understanding of why or what's going on,
right,
in general. But it's sad out here nowadays, bro. I don't know why everything got to be all weird.
Yeah, man. I would recommend, because I was fortunate enough to chaperone my daughter a few years ago. We went to Washington D.C. I would recommend you, if you're ever going to Washington D.C. or live in the Washington D.C. area, which you probably already aware of. Go to the African American Museum, the Smithsonian African American Museum. You will not be disappointed. You can spend the entire day in there, and it's so much stuff. It's stuff that I didn't get to see because we only had so much time to like look around and things like that. But it's so many exhibits in there that you didn't even realize. Like, wow, it was like speaking on like so many revolts and stuff. They actually have like artifacts in there, stuff that you hadn't seen and maybe not even read in a book. I would recommend that. I mean, DC is awesome. I mean, if you like history, like myself, DC is a good place to be because they have those Smithsonians. And the great part about it is it's all free. All free.
It for real?
Yes. Well, it's not really free. Our tax dollars go towards it, but you get what I mean. It's there for you. You can just walk in and go, and you don't have to pay anything. It's just the only thing you're paying with is your time, but I guarantee you it would be well.
Sound like it's more like an investment than anything.
Absolutely. I would go again in a heartbeat. I would actually, because just looking at my daughter's reaction, because they had an Emmett Till exhibit in there, and they actually had the casket and everything that he was laid in.
What? The actual one?
Yeah, the actual one, man.
So they dug it up? They dug it up
they dug it up and like redid it. Like they actually had it with their approval of his family. Like his family gave the blessing to do that. But they had an Emmett Till exhibit in there, and just to see her reaction, because she's 10 now, but I think she was only like 7 or 8 at that time. Just to see her innocence and just unbelievable, just looking at her face, because she was like, did they really do that? He was just a kid. He was, just seeing that and just learning, just seeing her reactions to certain things that, again, her innocence being exposed to was just like life changing for me. Right. And it was just like mind blowing. So again, I just recommend that, because that's probably one of the best things that that you can go see in DC, amongst other things as well. So definitely the Smithsonian of the African American Museum.
Damn. Yeah. That was very full and heavy for.
Oh yeah, and going back to it, it's so sensitive that they wouldn't even allow you to have cameras in their pictures.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was in Montgomery. Yeah. Have you been to the Civil Rights and the Lynching Museum and all that? Like, they have a lynching exhibit where it shows like all the people that have been lynched in every county. Like Jackson County came up a lot, Gurley came up a lot. It was like a lot of lynchings that were going on.
No, man, I haven't been. I have interest now. I definitely want to go. I still want to go to the African American Museum or the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. I want to go there. I heard it was pretty dope as well. So. Thanks. But again, we didn't mean to go off on the history lesson, but we've just felt it was fitting, with it being Black History Month. Actually, Black History Month is technically over now. It's March 1st, but you get it. It still counts because it still counts. I mean, Black History Month shouldn't be subject to just one month. It's a part of us. It's our heritage.
You got to keep it going at all. Yeah. I mean, just keep it intact and stuff like that, man. Like.
Yeah,
what can I say?
Yeah, what can you say, man? So just kids, do your homework. That's all I can really say about that. And because again, don't rely on a school system to tell you
anything. Well, yeah, everything rather. Because
they're gonna tell you everything under the sun, but stuff that you should know. But
you're damn right. Well, maybe just like room for like one thing, because I think we pretty much are at the brim on this one. We ain't talk a whole lot about film, but I was just gonna kind of pinch on film for like 2.5 seconds. I recently caught 1917.
Yeah.
It's a war movie based in, 1917. And long story short, the guy had to give a letter to his brother in another part of the platoon or another part of the group of folks, fighting the war. And it's a spoiler alert, by the way. But basically, he ended up, the guy that was supposed to be, have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But I love, as well as space movies, I like war movies as well. It's not my favorite war movie, but I thought it was a story that kind of needed to be told because going back in history, a lot of the times, especially when it comes to cinema, World War I is not really talked about as much. You see more.
Or no technology for real. So I mean, and that's kind of the way it was shot. Like they did a good job with the osmos.
It was like continuous. It was continuous. And that's what you're going to it for. You're not really going to it as far as story. You're going to it as far as like the cinematography and the way it's shot. That's just the part of it, because it feels like you're on a journey with these two kids. They probably were no more than 18 or 19 in a war.
Facts.
And it's more of the Britain side of it. It's not really Americans or anything like that. So it's more of the British side of the army, and but I liked it. I mean, I liked it just for the simple fact because, again, World War I is not really talked about as much. You hear a lot of World War II stuff. You see it. You have a lot of Vietnam movies and things, but not really World War I.
No, I was playing.
So, but yeah, I thought it was a good story. I mean, it's not something that I'm going to say, oh, I gotta watch 1917, but it was a good experience for me to see it. I saw it in 40X too, so it was
Damn,
actually,
that probably was intense.
It was pretty dope, man. You felt everything that was going around you. It was like you saw the smoke, you smelt the gun, you could feel the bullets coming at you and shit. Like, I recommend, if you have a 40X in your city, go check out a movie. I mean, it's not made for every movie, but it's a little bit more than the average movie ticket. But if you got a little money to splurge, and if it's something, I saw John Wick in 40X, John Wick 3, amazing, and I saw Spider-Man Far From Home in 40X, so it's amazing. But yeah, 1917 was okay. Wasn't that?
It was
decent?
alright.
It was alright.
Well, it looks like we coming close to that time. I wish we could stick around longer.
Yeah,
but
man, this is again, this is fun. It's just amazing how easy this is. We've spent this a better half an hour, talking about things.
And if there are different subjects that you actually want us to cover, or things like, well, how come AT, how come you didn't ask about this, or AJ, how can they reach you, man? What's your handle?
Oh man, so I'm just a normal guy, so you probably see me tweet or message more about sports related stuff, but I do throw a little bit of history tidbits in there as well. But you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Voodoo Child. Yes, Mr. Voodoo Child. Mr. Voodoo VOODOO, and then Child CHILD. I know that's a crazy Twitter handle, but it was something that I made when I was like 20 years old, and it was derived from a Drake lyric. So So yeah, people ask me about that, but it's Mr. Voodoo Child, and then my IG Instagram is JayCon88, so JAYCON 88. So yeah, hit me up, man. Go ahead and share yours, man.
All right, man. So
ours is behind this.
Right now, we only have an Instagram handle. Our Instagram handle for the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast is Lemon WCP. I'm tripping. Lemon WC Podcast. So LEMON WCPODCAST. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, and connect. If you have any questions, hit us in the DMs. We'll take those questions and we'll talk about it, and we'll also shout you out on the show.
Absolutely.
To let you know that we appreciate you rocking with us and stuff like that. And even if your feedback is negative, it's all good. At that point, we'll just flame you, and then we'll enjoy that.
And we would do it proper like too.
Yeah, we'll do it proper like.
We would do it proper like. Yeah.
But you guys have a good night or a good morning or wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast. where we purify the world of BS one drop at a time.
Got it. Peace.
Peace.